Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And today we are trying to build an underwater villa. This is my very first underwater home. I know that there have been a few of these that popped up, especially when Island Living came out, which is where we're building. We're building in Sulani, the world that came with that pack. And I was shooketh to my core the second I saw all of these starting to pop up because I was like, how do you do that? Like, what do you mean an underwater home? How the heck did you even make that? And it took me a while, one, to figure out how to actually do it, and then two, it took me a long time to brainstorm a shape because my issue with underwater homes, at least the ones that I make, because they're often terrible, like, I'm just gonna be honest, it took a lot of time for me to figure this one out, and I am very happy with it, but I think it could be better. But anyway, my issue is that the shape. So you can make a very appealing, like, single story home if you're thinking about it underneath the water, but it looks so odd no matter what the shape is. It looks so weird up top. So I was like, how do I make a shape that's appealing up top and down below? And I kind of came up with this. It was loosely based off of a picture on Pinterest, which I have since misplaced and haven't been able to track down again. So I am so sorry that I'm not able to provide that. But yeah, I really liked how it did come out, and I was thinking that this was going to be a rental lot. I mean, this might be a very expensive rental lot, but that's okay. I don't know, it's gonna be really pricey. It's just a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom villa, so this might be for like a honeymoon or something like that, which would be kind of neat. There literally is only one bed though, so you can add another bed if you want to. You can change up one of the rooms to make it a little bit more accessible for like a family vacation. But I was envisioning it for like a couple on their honeymoon. And even though I say that out loud, there are a lot of activities to kind of have a party up top. There's like a dance floor, there's a bar, there are a few places to kind of like lounge. There's a ladder to get into this pool, which is, we're just going to pretend is the ocean, right? But I don't know. It's a really fun place. I would really enjoy going here, but we are trying to work on the little entrance to this underwater villa. It is literally just a staircase leading down to kind of an open little patio space, if you could even call it that. There's also this little square which holds the ladder so you can actually get up to that top level, because there is no access to this top level from upstairs. This is really hard to describe. Basically, there's no other access other than this ladder. That's what I'm trying to say. You actually have to go through the villa itself and climb up the ladder to get to the top, which I think does make it a little bit more private. But actually, now that I think about it too, your Sims can just jump in the pool without a ladder, right? So they could just get to the top by jumping into the pool first. I don't really know. I just play tested it the way that I would actually play with it. So I'm not sure if there are other ways to do certain things, but I was trying to add a second, well, technically not a second, but I was trying to add a staircase to actually access from the bottom floor to the top floor, and it just really didn't work. And I did a few things off camera as well, just to make sure that I liked what I was making. And then I move on to the landscaping. I was trying to say another word, but move on to the landscaping, which was pretty straightforward. I just wanted it to kind of blend with these little bits that were surrounding this lot to begin with, just so it looked as though it was a little bit more ingrained in the world, even though it's a little bit far from that little lagoon area or the beach itself. I thought it blended okay. And I also add a few different rocks and coral and little things for under the ocean in this pool to make it look as though it's actually like underwater in the ocean. I think that turned out okay. I guess I'll call it like a seascape. It turned out all right. I was a little bit constrained just because this lot actually was not as big as I thought it was, and I didn't realize how much room I would really need to make this house and the water surrounding it, if that makes any sense. I also went into the debug menu and I used the tool mod to lower down these vines so they kind of hang over the entrance, and they don't necessarily hide it, and they of course don't block your Sim's ability to go down the stairs that I place underneath them, but I thought it was a nice little addition to make it look like it's kind of growing out of the landscaping that's surrounding this entire home. And then I just add a few fencing pieces, and then I dive in, grab some of the debug rocks from, well, the debug menu, and these are found in the debug menu with the Island Living filter on, because I just wanted to find things that would authentically fit into this world. But here I'm grabbing some coral and trying to strategically place it around here. I didn't want every single space to look identical, but I did want it to look pretty manicured, if that makes sense. And we were actually kind of limited on coral. I was surprised. We had the ones that were, I think, dying, which makes me feel really sad, but the ones that were dying, because I think we have different versions of them because the world changes if you actually clean it up and stuff like that. Similar to eco lifestyle, right? So this is with the conservationist career, I want to say. So as you progress through that career, you'll have like triggered events, so you can go ahead and clean up the beaches and it'll impact the world around you, which is really, really beautiful. I don't necessarily play with that career a lot, but the world doesn't get very trashed because I don't play with it. And therefore, long story short, what I'm trying to say is I chose the coral that was very lively and vibrant compared to the one in the debug menu that kind of looks as though it's dying, and that makes me very sad. But here we are working on the top area, and there's like a little sunken space for you to sit underneath the, is that considered a veranda? Is that what that's called? There's also the bar and then 2 lounge chairs, which I do put an umbrella over those as well. And then the other parts of it, I kind of went back and forth with these glass pieces, these glass flooring pieces from the Island Living debug menu as well, because I wanted there to be a lot of sunlight that got in to the underwater villa itself. But I kind of realized that since I used a platform on top of the room, it really didn't do what I wanted it to do, but I liked the way the glass flooring looked, so I ended up just keeping it. And then we move on to the actual underwater villa space. So right there is going to be the bathroom, which is huge, but I create a separate like toilet area from bathing area. Basically, I just wanted every room to be kind of giant and really luxurious. So on this side of the half wall is actually the bed, and on the other side is a computer, which I kind of like dividing the space that way. It's not something that I would typically do. However, I thought it kind of worked for this layout because, like I said, there's like no good layout that I could think of, which is why I use Pinterest for inspiration here. But the color scheme is very light and airy because, again, I just wanted it to seem bigger and brighter than it was. And if I used a lot of darker tones, I feel like it would resemble a little bit more of like an underwater cave, which is not what I was going for. But yeah, there is like a little window seat as well with an ottoman. Now, unfortunately, with that ottoman sunken into the platform, it didn't work, and I had to play test it a lot to try to get it to work. I got it to work maybe once, but if it doesn't work for you, I'm really sorry because I tried really hard, and I've done that before, but it just didn't work for me. Initially got it to work, and now I'm just not sure if it's going to, so I do apologize if it doesn't work. I thought it was kind of a nice area, but there's also a chess table, and then I just add plants and sconces everywhere because, again, I just wanted it to be really, really bright, and considering that those glass flooring pieces upstairs didn't really work, I wanted to make sure that I added a lot of light down here. And then there is also a console table with just another plant. Since this is going to be a rental lot, at least for like if I play with this, I didn't want it to be overly cluttered or customized. I just wanted it to be themed. So I hope that that makes sense. But there is a shelf over here, which I do clutter up a little bit. Again, nothing crazy because it's not personalized or anything like that. There are a few statues and decorations that came with the Island Living expansion pack, as well as a little tiny bookcase from Tiny Living. So your Sims can read, they can play chess, they can watch TV, they can go on the computer. And there's also this huge walk-in closet, which I thought was, well, I say huge, it's really not that huge, but there's a walk-in closet in this build, and I thought that was really nice because I use the platform that allows your Sims to like get makeovers and try on different outfits and stuff like that. And then there's also separate wardrobes, which I thought was really nice. And now I'm just adding a few lights and decorations around that little reading nook, adding more plants. The skinny legend comes in strong in this build. And here is the wardrobe. So like I said, we do have the actual wardrobe, like clothing racks, and then I add the little, I think it's what considered a pedestal or something like that. And then of course like the big mirrors and everything, so you could try on different outfits and just really feel yourself there, you know? And then we move on to the bathroom, which is odd. It's odd. I didn't really like the bathroom that much. I liked the bathtub area and I liked the sink area, but the separation of the toilet, even though I did like it, I didn't necessarily enjoy the room that I put the toilet in. It seemed a little bit odd to me because there was nothing else in there, but I couldn't think of anything appropriate to put in there. So if you also feel the same way, please of course feel free to put anything you would like in there because I couldn't think of anything. But here I do grab the bathtub and then I surround it with a few different plants. There's like a hanging plant. There are just a few items there that make that a very luxurious space in my book because I freaking love baths. And if I were in an underwater villa, I would love to have a bath right in front of the big open window so I could look out at the coral. And I think that would be really, really beautiful. If I really think about it, I would probably like to spend like a majority of my day in a bathtub. Just, I love being in a warm bath with like tons of bubbles, with no one bothering me, like nothing to think about. It's not like people are like bothering me all the time or anything like that, but I just absolutely love baths. They're like my favorite way to relax. But anyway, this is going to be the toilet area, which ends up being a little bit skinnier, but again, it's just such a weird space, and it worked for the sake of the build, but if I were to walk in there and use the bathroom, I would feel very enclosed. And not necessarily in a good way, but we're just going to move past it. It's a nice big luxurious bathroom, and I even thought of adding one of it's almost like a waterfall decoration from Spa Day, and I think it's technically considered a sculpture. I don't really remember. I was going to place it in the center because I thought that the bathroom was big enough to have that kind of feature, but it was way too big, and if you shrink it down, it doesn't change where the actual water is flowing from, so I ended up getting rid of it. And then I add an aquarium here because this is going to be the little living/dining space. Weird shaped room. You don't have to tell me twice. It is a weird shaped room. There was nothing normal about this, and I don't know why I ended up with this shaped room, but I did, and it ended up working out kind of okay. And the only reason I added the aquarium as well is because I did not go through and like shrink down aquariums and add fish like some people do when they make underwater homes. I think that's a thing. I didn't really know how to do it, so I just didn't, but I ended up adding an aquarium because I thought it was a nice element. And then this is going to be the dining table, where I use these chairs that were from the free update for the 21st anniversary that Hey Harry made. They are beautiful, and I thought that they fit perfectly with the color scheme that I had going on here. And then I was thinking of adding a fireplace, and then I had to stop myself because I was like, this is an underwater house, like don't be silly, there'd be no fireplace under here. So I added a fake one. This is the mantle, again with I think a free update at some point. I think the holiday update, I'm not really sure. But then I also used this coffee table from Island Living, these couches and armchair from Eco Lifestyle, and then a lamp. And I added a TV, and I put candles in that mantle, so it still looks kind of like a fireplace. But it was very simple, very, I thought, elegant and really pretty. And then we end up moving on to the kitchen. Now, I had issues with the kitchen as well. I don't know why. So what I ended up doing is I changed the door. For some reason, this door was not allowing my Sims to even walk into the kitchen. Like, they could not get there, and I don't know why. I changed it out, I think, to some other kind of sliding door for me to upload this to the gallery. I don't think I did it here in the game, but my Sim couldn't get to the kitchen. Like, literally couldn't walk through it, and I was so confused because they could get to the living room, they could sit down at every seat at the dining table, but they couldn't get to the kitchen at all. And there was nothing blocking the door. Again, I got it to work once, and then it wasn't working anymore, so I sincerely apologize if it doesn't work. Hopefully you guys can make it work or figure out exactly what was going on, but it was the weirdest thing. I thought maybe it was the platform that was above on that very first story, but it actually wasn't, because I ended up altering that platform and it didn't fix it. But anyway, we're actually almost at the end of the build, so I hope you guys did enjoy this very rambly voiceover. My stomach was making crazy noises, so I paused and started up again like 5 million times during this voiceover, and I am ready to wrap it up. But I hope you guys did enjoy this. I can't wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!
Tell me what you're thinking. One sentence is too much for your tangled mind. Don't know what's worse, the waiting or the frustration. It's hard to care about you.